What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lambo Plays podcast. I'm your host, Narco Cop, and my co-host right next to me here, Timothy Troiano. We're here for UFC San Antonio, and this is episode 51 already, Tim. We're blowing by these episodes, killing it. Last week, I think we hit 5 or 6. Another incredible week. It's just been week after week after week. It's pretty insane, man. How do you like this card, Tim?
I like this card. It's some closely lined fights. There's not a lot of huge favorites. Smash spots doesn't seem, and I think there's some violence here, so it should be entertaining. Minus the big ring, I think the big cage is going to maybe help, but I think that just the style of fighters is going to be some pretty violent fights.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see the same thing, and we're in Texas, so lovely Texas has some great judging, so we got to be careful with that. But before we start out, let me shout out my chat per usual. It is the first man in the room, Mushroom MMA. What is up, Narco and Tim? Lambo Plays, the best prop show on YouTube. One more slate. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Nick Alexander, what is up? Damvux, Daz, Sandy Cheeto fight going to be so good. I can't wait. I can't wait as well. I think it's going to be a banger. Rob Lawrence, I'm going to go drive through right now. Let's fucking go, boys. Appreciate you. Let's make some money. Yes, Rob. Let's do it. Ron the Ripper, what is up? Besides Cheeto, who's the next best dog? We will be talking about the whole card here. Why House Troll? 2 a.m., but I have to watch it. Let's fucking go. Patrick, my man, addicted to combat. It is time. What is up, my friends? And go over to Addicted to Combat YouTube channel and follow this man, Patrick. Great dude, great capper, awesome guy, and a beast when it comes to the weights. Just go look at how much weight this guy puts up. It hurts my back just looking at him. Mr. Jingles, what is up, my man? We are ready to go. Basil Hazelwood, let's get it, boys. Victor, what is up? Eagles 1985. Ice King, my man, John Kelly says, I have the same shirt, Tim. He likes that shirt. St. Stephen, let us go. And that's it. 41 of you already in here. We only have 11 fights now since so many damn fights have been gone. I mean, there's a total of 6 fights that have been pulled from this card. So with that being said, we will start out with the first fight of the night. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 14-4 Vinicius Salvador versus the 11-2 Victor Altamirano. Tim, kick it off.
Okay, so I feel like this fight is, there's a possibility that Victor wins a decision. I think his decision equity is better in this fight. He's got more paths to win the fight. If you're asking me a money line side, it's obviously it's kind of a coin flip. He would be the side that I would be picking from a money line side. I just think that Salvador is very, he's dangerous. He wings like these huge lefts and winging hooks, and he fought like Shannon Ross, and just he's not really that good. He seemed to knock him out a bunch of times, and Shannon just kept swinging and hitting him back, and so he's hittable. He doesn't seem too defensively responsible at all when he's striking. He can be taken down. He's not really great in the ground. I feel like Altamirano round 2, round 3 or decision is kind of the way the fight goes. He's hittable and he could get bonked in round 1, but I feel like he's durable. He's got that Mexican chin and heart, and he just can take a beating. So I think he lasts in the first round, and I think round 2 is plus 850. Round 3 is plus 1400. I also don't hate the KO line. I think everybody's thinking that he's going to sub him. I don't think that it's always going to be a sub in this situation just because of how wild Salvador is. And ground and pound was there as well. He was really, really violent on the De Silva fight with his ground and pound. So if you hit just round 2, round 3 is plus 850, plus 1400, but KO 2, KO 3 is plus 1600, plus 2800. I like those looks for Altamirano. Hopefully he doesn't soft cock us in the round 2, round 3.
Yeah, interesting fight, to be honest. I have a bet on Altamirano at minus 105, I believe. I just think he's the better minute winner in this fight. I don't think he has a ton of power. And most of his stoppages are like attritionally done, like where he outlasts his opponent. He's got good cardio, good durability in general, and basically he outlasts his opponents. And Salvador on the other end, like this dude is just winging freaking hooks and big punches, trying to get you out of there. He has a lot of power at 125, and he's a pretty big dude. Um, but there's a question mark on his cardio. I don't think it's bad, but it's definitely questionable at this point. The other thing that you see from both of these guys that is a big red flag is both these guys kind of keep their hands down. They're both southpaws. And one thing I do hate about Altamirano, he does not see the left hand coming whatsoever. And the same thing can be said for fucking Salvador. He doesn't see any punches coming. He doesn't give a shit. He has his hands down. He's just throwing. I think this fight is gonna go under, but I can also see where this fight kind of like pushes through and get hit. Here's that final bell, man. And I think optics here, it's like big power over volume over a guy that, like Altamirano does those weird, like throws a punch and then a leg kick behind it. And he's going to probably have more volume here, but I don't think he has the power advantage here. And the moment's probably going to be on Salvador's side. Split decision is plus 700, dude. I looked at it and I said, obviously I have a bet on Altamirano. I think he wins the minutes in general, but you never know with these judges and moments and stuff like that. I also think Salvador probably wins round one at a decent clip. So split decision plus 700. That's what I'm going to go with here. I don't mind the late round props on Altamirano. I think he's going to have the better cardio, and he works the body a lot of body kicks, a lot of knees. I think that will come in handy for him later in the fight. So I think that's a smart thing to do in this fight. Like in the clinch, he's very good. A lot of knees in the clinch. So I think that possibly might slow down Salvador even more if he uses it effectively.
What is I mean, that's such a great read because it's like that's the same thing. Like if you're thinking like the fight goes, and I was saying the same thing, like part of my like 25% of my read or 30% of my Altamirano win path is like, and it might be more even is a decision. And like you're saying, like if it goes, the early portions and the power and the moments could easily be in Salvador, and he could get moments easily, and he could just be out volume. So it's such a great call. Like their bet is on the violence. Like both of us have bets on the under in this fight, and just like that's the better way to go, obviously, because you just don't have to pick the side. You're just expecting violence. But if this fight goes, I totally agree with you. There's some fights like that in the card where it's like, man, it's predicted as violence, but if it goes, you're getting some great split lines, and these judges are going to be really interesting.
The only thing I will say is like Altamirano has showed and I've said this all week, like he's shown durability, but he's also hasn't faced like big punchers throughout his career. Like, the guy probably with the biggest upside to finish was De Silva, and he dropped him early, if you remember, in that first round. So I don't expect them to be eating these power shots from Salvador. However, like I said, if this fight extends, man, it could get a little sloppy. It could get, it could hear that final bell. And this guy is a black belt on the ground. So like I understand there's black belts and there's black belts, but he's in the Rebus camp. They usually have good grappling over there. So I'm gonna take it in the sense that this guy knows how to grapple, is gonna be able to. They're both black belts, so we'll see. I'm just gonna go with split and see what happens. I think this fight might play close, actually. Fight number 2. It is again in the flyweight division. It is the 10-4-1 CJ Vergara versus the 11-4 Daniel Da Silva. This is a spot where, honestly, I even thought about laying the line with Vergara at minus 240. I put him in a parlay. I really, really like him in this spot, man. I think looking at his UFC career, they've given him some really good prospects in Clayton Rodriguez and Tatsuro Taira. And when you look at Da Silva, he's been finishing all 3 of his UFC fights. I feel like they're telling Vergara, thank you for facing these young prospects, these young killers. Here's a guy that maybe you can kill now. You know, it's just what it looks like to me. And I think Vergara can kill this guy, man. Vergara is durable. He's got very good defensive jiu-jitsu, to be honest. Like, he survived a lot of Clayton Rodriguez stuff, who's really good. And he survived a lot of Tyra stuff, who's really good before using that rear naked choke into an armbar, which was really, really slick. I don't see De Silva subbing this guy. I don't see De Silva knocking this guy out. And we know De Silva has a terrible gas tank. He's round 1 or bust. I think Vergara has the cardio advantage. I think he's the cleaner striker. I think he's going to get this guy out of there. It's just a matter of when. It could be in the first round. I'm going to go with round 2 plus 475. He's going to get this guy out of there. I just don't know when. What do you have here, Tim?
I got the same read. KO1 plus 190, KO2 plus 490 on FanDuel. Yeah, dude, you know what you're getting out of De Silva, and that's about, I don't know, 90 seconds to 120 seconds of his best, that he's absolutely got. And he's dangerous with that. So obviously he could do some damage, but once that's done, he just takes his ball and goes home. So yeah, CJ pretty much won it won one of the first 2 rounds. I hope it doesn't go to 3 because I have the under 2.5 in this one as well with you. So yeah, I just, CJ's just better. I think he's gonna probably bonk him.
I'm just not even touching round 3 just because I don't think this is one. I said that about another fight last week. I forgot which one, and it did end. I don't see this one hitting the 3rd round, dude. This guy's getting finished either end of the first or second. Again, I think this line might be short, dude, at minus 240, to be honest. MMA Propaholic, what is up? Mr. Jingle says Vergara sub 2, 6,000. I don't know, man. This guy's not going to go for subs. I think he's just going to go for the ground and pound. And if it's on the ground, he's just going to smash this guy. And De Silva, we've seen how he shells up and just goes home. So I probably wouldn't sprinkle it, but I don't want to talk you out of it either. Moving on, fight number 3. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 15-4 Trevin Giles versus the 10-3 Preston Parsons. Tim, what do you got?
Well, it's Trevin Giles. Tough to read. I think he's the better fighter in this fight, and I think he's got more paths to win it. But that being said, he's just a guy that is just, you have the notes on certain fighters, and when the first note is don't trust him, don't trust this guy, that's one of the worst things that you can put as a note on somebody. So obviously the reasons that I don't trust him aren't because of his skills. It's just because of his decision making. If he hurts guys, he'll do just the wrong things. He just makes just bad decisions consistently. So tough to lay, tough lines and, juice with him. But in this fight, I just think that money line wise, he's the side. I feel like I don't have a bet on this fight at all. So don't, I'm not trying to be super confident in this at all, but I do think he's a better fighter. On the Preston Parsons side, I don't like how he gets hit and how he reacts to getting hit by guys. And I don't feel like his striking defense is as good. On the other side, again, with Giles, he can be low volume. But I do feel like if he does connect, with guy, I just feel like he'll have chances to connect in this fight if they're standing. So long-winded. I eventually think that Giles gets him out. I think it's probably round 2, round 3. He has, of his 6 finishes, 2 are in round 3, 2 are in round 2, and 2 are in round 1. So, if you look at his KO, his sub prop also is at 750. I'm not super confident that it's just going to only be a KO. I would lean that way, but I don't think it's impossible that he can't club and sub this guy or get a sub in general. From an offensive standpoint, I don't think he's an idiot on the ground. I think he's defensively a fucking moron on the ground. So yeah, give me Giles round 2, round 3 is plus 750, plus 1,400. I just think eventually he catches him somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a weird fight, man, because you mentioned something. I think Trevin Giles is the more skilled fighter here everywhere. He's got good, decent jiu-jitsu. he's definitely the better technical striker. He's going to be probably at a speed advantage here. Giles is coming down to 170. This is his third fight at 170. He previously was at 85. He has an impressive win not very long ago against Roman Dolidze at 85. And he dropped Dolidze and hurt him really bad in the third round. And the other thing that people need to look at, and Mushroom is saying Officer Giles has the fight IQ of, yes, I agree. He doesn't have good fight IQ. But you know what, Mushroom? He's no longer a police officer. He's a full-time fighter for the past year. He quit from his job. He resigned from Houston PD. And he's a full-time fighter now, which you have to take that into account, because I know from my previous, occupation that being a police officer, it's a lot of fucking hours, man. This guy was putting in a lot of hours working as a police officer and basically doing MMA at the highest level part-time, right? He was a part-time UFC fighter. So, now that he's a full-time fighter, yeah, his last fight was him at a full-time fighter, and he didn't look great against Koski, I'll admit. But I think he was just trying to get a victory. It just seemed like he just wanted to get a victory, play it safe, don't do anything stupid, and just get the W. Parsons, I don't mind it. I like the kid. I think he's very aggressive. I think he has pretty heavy hands, in my opinion. He has no knockouts, but he throws with power, and he's got pretty good ground and pound as well, as you saw it against Elder. Like, dude, I don't know how Elder managed to survive all that last fight. But, and this is a big but before I give you my play, I don't like how this guy reacts to getting hit. When he got hit, he turned away, oh, my eye. He's like, dude, this is an MMA fight. What are you doing? You didn't get poked in the eye. You got punched in the eye. What are you turning away for and giving up basically against Rodriguez? Then when you watch way back, I watched the Perry fight where he got knocked out. Again, man, he absolutely quit in that fight after Perry. And he was giving it to Mike Perry for all that round. And then Perry lands on him and he completely shells up in the cage and just gives up. So that's a little concerning. But I'm going to go with Parsons KO. It's plus 950. I think that line is, I know you're looking at this guy's career and it's all sub, decision. No KOs. But I also have questions on Giles. I do kind of think that when he gets hit, not that he quits, he does stupid shit. And I could see this guy getting knocked out with ground and pound or something even on the feet, man. And Parsons, I think, hits hard. Plus 950, kind of a big line in my opinion. So I'm going to go with that Parsons KO plus 950. This fight is scheduled to end inside the distance. I don't know if Parsons will be able to sub Giles. I think Giles is pretty good down there. He's only been subbed by pretty good grapplers. So we'll see. Moving on. Fight number 4. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 19-10 Steven Peterson versus the 7-3 Lucas Alexander. This might be one of my favorite plays as far as Lambo is concerned. I like Peterson's submission, plus 350. If you want to get tricky, sub 2 is 1,300. Sub 3 is 2,000. I think he's got the better cardio. He's got the way better jiu-jitsu. He's got more experience. I think he's the more durable fighter. The only thing that's lacking with Steven Peterson in this fight is his dumb fight IQ. He doesn't have the best fight IQ. He comes forward, wants wars, which wouldn't be good in this fight, like in the stand-up, because I do favor Alexander. But, dude, Alexander's been subbed in all 3 of his losses. When you look at his Instagram, there was a guy, this is a funny story. There was a guy recording jiu-jitsu class today at whatever gym he's at. I forgot what gym it was. He's like, jiu-jitsu day. And then he pans the camera like this, Tim, and he shows Lucas Alexander, another guy, sparring, like basically doing some kickboxing. And he goes, that guy does not like jiu-jitsu days. And it's him. It's Lucas Alexander. Apparently, we could see it in his fucking tape why he doesn't like jiu-jitsu, because he sucks down there. So Peterson submission plus 350. I think he might even get it a little later when this guy tires out and the takedowns come easier. The only problem is I hope fucking Peterson uses his brain and gets this fight down to the ground where he can get a sub. So plus 350, that's what I'm going to give. Sub 2-3 if you want to get a little tricky. What's up? Give me your take on this, Tim.
The only thing that I don't disagree with, I just would say that is definitely possible, is that it's round one. Like if he's smart, he takes him down when he's dry. He takes him down when he's got the most energy, and this dude gives up his back, and then he just takes his back and he takes his neck. Like this is one of those kind of like, we've done this before where you're like, okay, 300, 350, like it's not a great line from a, Lambo standpoint, but it's like, it's really confident though. It's like really like it's not like this guy doesn't go for grappling and doesn't go for takedowns and doesn't go for subs. He does. And then it's not like the other guy isn't deficient in those areas as well. He is. So it's like, there's just patterns to this. And it's not like, you just look at it and you're just like, why the line shouldn't be like plus 350 for sub. It should be like plus 200 for sub, closer to the points. And then they try to make you make a decision of like, what do you really want to go at? So yeah, I like the submission. I because of what you're saying, I just like to do the same thing. Like hit sub 2-3 and hope you get lucky. Like, it's just way better line. You're not going to take the difference on what plus 600 or plus 500 on sub one.
And the fact that I think this guy, Alexander, is going to slow down and there's a big cardio edge where once you're tired and the guy has a big cardio edge on you and he's the better grappler, submissions just come easier. So I really like the sub plus 350 on the Peterson side, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. Fight number 5 is in a featherweight division. It is the 27-14 Daniel Pineda versus the 12-2 Tucker Lutz. What do you got here, Tim, for us?
Another one of these fights where similar to the Altamirano fight. I think this is extremely similar to that fight. You get a guy in Tucker Lutz who's not like a notorious finisher and goes to decision a lot of times at this level, versus Pineda, who's never winning a decision in 30 fights and loses 5 decisions and pretty much goes to the death and wants to try to win 50K. So I lean Tucker getting him out in round 2, round 3, just because more of Pineda's style than Tucker's style. But I wouldn't be shocked if Tucker wins the decision here either. So my call will be Tucker KO 2-3 is plus 440 on FanDuel. KO 2 is plus 750. KO 3 is plus 1200. Kind of think it does take him a little bit of time to get him out, and I think that Pineda probably will have some success in round 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, I mentioned this earlier in the week. I think, first of all, Pineda's on the sauce again, where he got busted for it in PFL. He looks like he's back on the juice. He's been out for a while, 2.5 years. I think he had a knee injury. He's a little older now. So it kind of makes sense why he's back on the sauce, to be honest. Tucker Lutz has been out for a while himself, 1.5 years. He had a back injury where 2 different doctors told him he had to have surgery. So he bypassed surgery, did therapy, and now he's back. You don't like seeing that. Obviously, he's got a big age gap here between, Lutz at 28 and Pineda at 37. But like I said, I think Pineda's back on the sauce, and when he's been on the sauce before, not very long ago, we're talking, a couple years ago, 3 years ago, this guy destroyed Khabulaev and Jeremy Kennedy in the PFL, and clearly he was on some stuff. I think this guy's jiu-jitsu is pretty slick and dangerous. Tucker Lutz, when I watched round 3 against Aguilar, he did not like pressure. Tucker Lutz has a very wide stance, and Pineda has very, very good calf kicks. So I think he's going to get his calf kicked a good bunch here in the beginning. What I do feel like is going to happen here is going to get his calf kicked. And I think at some point he's going to shoot. And I think he's going to get subbed, man. I honestly think Pineda's going to sub this guy. He's very sneaky with his subs. He's got a ton of subs. And they're all types of subs. We're talking about triangle chokes, Kimuras, guillotines, rear knee. He's got all types of variety of subs. And it's plus 750. And I honestly, truly, I don't rate this guy Tucker Lutz at all, man. I honestly don't know why he's minus 300 outside of the age difference. Why? Why is this guy minus 300? He looked like shit, man. I mean, what has he done? Sherrod Blackledge fight. That guy Blackledge is not good, bro, and he kept taking him down in that fight. He's beat absolute cans in the regionals. His best win is probably Chase Gibson, and that's not saying a lot. I think Pineda is probably the play here, to be honest. If he was younger, I would absolutely smash him in this spot, but I'm not smashing him. I have a play on him at plus 245. But his sub prop, plus 750. I think he's sneaky, man. He's sneaky good with the submission. So,
how many minutes of the fight do you give Pineda to win? Like how many minutes do you give him to sub him? Like the first 7?
If he's on the juice, I don't know. Probably the whole. I don't know. If this guy,
he's never. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like he's never shown to be able to to go like long distance in fights, and he's always had this kind of kill or be killed, like go.
Yeah,
go.
I agree with you, but he's shown like around 3 subs in his record multiple times.
Yeah,
he has around 3 subs. Obviously, there were years ago. They were 5, 7, 6 years ago in Bellator. But he's shown he can sub people in round 3.
No, the sub is definitely live. I'm just saying. My question is more like how, if you were going like round 1, round 2, I would kind of think it'd be the first 10 minutes of the fight more than. But like you're saying, he has him in round 3. So it's if he's really, like you're saying, if he's going after him and he's really trying to get him down to the ground, maybe he does tire him out. Maybe he can outlast. You never know.
Pineda can wrestle too. I think he can take Lutz down for sure. Like he times his takedowns pretty good, and I think he can wrestle Lutz and get him down. If he gets his back and shit like that, like Lutz might be in trouble. I understand people are gonna say, "Well, Sabatini didn't sub him. Why would this guy sub him?" I get it.
The thing that I totally do agree with you on is that Lutz is not good. Like I totally agree with you that he's not a good. Like this is not a
shit gym, Tim. He's at ground control gym. I haven't seen any improvements from him fight over fight. None. 0.
Yeah, this is my bet. My bet is more on the age and the gassiness and just what we've seen predictively from Pineda. I do agree with you that money line wise side or like early in the fight, who's going to have more success? Like that's what I said. I think Pineda wins round 1 at a pretty good rate or most of round 1, and then starts to gas and starts to slow down, and then Tucker starts to be able to get what he wants to get off.
Red Cross donation of the week, Tucker Lutz. You might as well donate to Red Cross instead of picking.
I don't hate it. Yeah, he's one of those guys. Again, like my prediction for him for the Lambo plays is that. But what is the line on sub for Pineda?
It's 750.
Nice.
So you can get 750. I mean, if you go sub 1 or something, I'm sure it's going to be astronomical. Sub 1 is 1,600.
Yeah.
And then sub 2 is 2,600. So
yeah,
take it for what it may be worth. But I honestly, Lutz, I don't know, man. I don't know how you can lay these type of prices and why this fucking guy is minus 300. I don't know. We'll move on. Fight number 6. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 22-8 Chidi Njokuani versus the 15-4 Albert Daryev. Man, another one I was going back and forth. I kind of think Chidi's going to knock him out in round 1. Honestly, the way Darayev's chin sucks. He's been knocked out in all 4 losses. He has quit in him, I'll tell you that. His striking on the feet is not very good. He gets tagged a lot. But then, like, both guys kind of gas. They both don't have great cardio. I think Daryev has a little bit better cardio, but I think both guys are gassers, to be honest. This could be if it goes like 7.5 minutes, it could be really fucking sloppy fight, to be honest. I'm going to go with Njokuani round 1 KO. It is sitting at, what is Njokuani round 1 KO? Plus 300. Probably, actually, it's down to 250. You know what? Then you're better off. Just play Njokuani round 1. It's plus 245 on Unibet. Play him round 1. I think he can finish him early, man. I don't trust this guy's chin whatsoever, man. And he's been dropped him 3 times in his 2 UFC fights. So it's a major red flag. What do you got here?
Yeah, just add round 2 just in case with Chidi. No great confidence in this fight. This is totally binary, and does the offensive striking? I think on Daryev isn't bad. I think his defensive striking is shit, and I think that his takedowns, his wrestling isn't phenomenal, but against certain people, it's good enough. And I just don't know. My prediction is I don't think that he has an easy time getting him down early enough to not get bonked. So yeah, I'm with you. KO 1 or KO 2, but like you're saying, it's not good enough difference between those lines. So cover the sub at just do round 1 and round 2. But yeah, the under in this fight is more the way to go. If it gets past like you're saying, if it gets past 8-9 minutes, it's like this fight probably goes and there's a slobber knocker in round 3. But that would be sucky.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of playing the under in this fight, but I could see it becoming. Both guys are gassers. That's what I hate. Where if both are gas and I could see them doing fuck all for the last, round and a half. I don't want to touch an under in that sense. But yeah, I mean, Daryev's wrestling, I don't even know, bro. It sucks. His wrestling doesn't even look good. I don't even know if he could get Njokuani down, to be honest. Maybe when he gets tired.
That's the thing. Big cage is going to help him. I think he's athletic enough. So yeah,
the length, the size. Yeah. He's probably gonna kick him to that with those teeps too. That's gonna even slow down Daryev even more with those teeps because he's got nasty teeps. This Njokuani. So in the clinch, he can hurt him with a lot of knees and shit. I don't know. Yeah, this fight doesn't look very good for Daryev, in my opinion. Next fight of the night, fight number 7. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 24-7 Alex Perez versus the 18-6 Manel Kape. What do you got here, Tim? We hit the 100 mark, by the way. Thank you to each and every one of you. Hit the like down below, please, while you're in here. Go ahead, Tim.
Okay. This fight is interesting to me. I like Manel Kape a lot. I've liked him since the beginning of coming into the UFC. I thought he had a ton of talent. I needed to get better at certain shit, and I think he's been showing improvements from fight to fight to fight. That being said, the danger marks with him are you do never know kind of what he's going to do and how hard he's going to push on the gas, and he can make mistakes in that realm. I feel like he easily could have won against Nicolau if he just put his foot on the gas 10-15% more in certain moments of that fight. But he just gets overconfident, and I think that's like his weakness is his overconfidence. So it's just, I don't know. I think he's just better, and I feel like he'll be able to eventually connect and knock out. Sorry, I lost. Who's he fighting again? Oh, Alex Perez.
Alex Perez.
Yeah, I just feel like Perez is a guy that he's okay striking, but he's going to want to get this fight to the ground. He's going to want to get his wrestling going. He's going to want to get just his grappling going in general. I'm not saying like he's inept on the feet, but he just does not want to. I don't think he wants to get into a striking battle with Manel. Manel's just faster on the feet, way better athlete, and I just think eventually he connects. So give me Manel by KO is plus 195. It's a tricycle play, but that's the play that I think it happens. I wouldn't be, I mean, like sub is like everybody's talking about sub. I would be kind of surprised if he subs him, but it's kind of the way I shouldn't say I would be surprised. It's the way that Perez has gone out. So it's like, is it a club and sub, or is it something that he makes a mistake and something like that happens? Like, definitely it's possible. So my prediction is that he bonks him though. And I'll go with round 1 is plus 430 and round 2 is plus 900.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I honestly think Perez is way overrated, in my opinion. He high rolled himself to top 5 status. And when you go back and look, like, I had to dig a little deeper. Like, who the hell has this guy beat in the UFC, man?
Nobody good.
Nobody. Literally nobody. His best win, in my opinion, Formiga is shot. He's not even in the UFC anymore, right? He faced him a couple of years ago when he was older. Probably his best win is Jose Torres, Shorty Torres, who's not in the UFC. But man, who has he beat? This guy has lost to, very good fighters, but he hasn't even competed against those fighters. He's been finished in round 1 by every one of them. And now he's been off for so long. He's got one fight in the last 3 years. He owns a Kai business that he's very proud of, that he's showing it off all over Instagram. I don't even know the motivation for this guy, to be honest. I don't think there is a big motivation for fighting. Manel Kape, younger, hungrier, more active, faster. I think he's the better fighter everywhere, in my opinion, even in the grappling. I think Manel Kape's grappling is underrated. I get he gets taken down, but it's hard to hold this guy down. He's really super athletic, and I think he has submission upside in this fight. I think the club and sub here is very, very live, in my opinion. It's plus 550 now. I got it at plus 650. It's gone down 100 points. It's been going down all week, I think. People just keep hammering that sub line. And I think it's for good reason. I honestly think he's live to submit Perez. I think Perez is a shot fighter, to be honest. Even though he's still young, I don't think this fighter is the way he got bum rushed against Pantoja, and he was just like shelling up, gave up his back, just got sub. Terrible look, dude. And Manel Capes looked better. The thing is, Manel Capes looked better every single fight. He's just looking better and better and better, while the other guy is looking like shit every single fight. I don't see how Perez wins this fight. He's not grapple fucking Kape. I don't know why people think that. I don't see it. How? Like, Kape is very hard to hold down. He's the more athletic guy. And Alex Perez, to be honest, yeah, grappled earlier in the career, but hasn't done shit with grappling, after that. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's also hard. It's like you're saying, like, yeah, Liam made his comment in his pod earlier this week as well. Like, it's pathological with Perez to get subbed. So it's like, it's just the way that he goes out. And so, like you're saying, it's just when you get a plus 550, at first I was thinking about, obviously I think that the KO is what I predicted, but it's just like, you're so right. Like, could easily be a club and sub. This easily could be him just, going down, and then what does Manel want to do? And then it's a flip of the coin at that point. Like, does he bonk him, or does he just take his back and take his neck?
I know the guillotine was tight against Vergara, but it's just the way he just tapped out. He didn't even try to fight hands, nothing. Tap. Like, I'm out of here. Goodbye.
It's the same thing with Pantoja. I mean, like, Pantoja was the easiest sub bet that we made in the sub one. It's just like, dude, this is
even try to defend it. Like, okay, good night, goodbye.
So that's what we're saying. Like, the grappling, when you're talking about a guy who's gonna need grappling in this fight to win the fight, he's gonna be putting him. He historically puts himself in shit positions. He will. So if Manel is athletic enough and is actually hunting the sub, which he should be smart if he's watching the tape and has good coaches, like, it should be something that actually is way more live than I thought. So yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, it's a plus 550. I don't love that price, to be honest, but I still see a path where he gets subbed here.
Yeah, I just agree.
Marco from Cape Town, South Africa, tuned in 4 a.m. this side. Love the work. Thank you, my man. Free Africa. I appreciate you. 4 a.m. That's dedication. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see. It's an interesting fight. I really like the Cape side, though. Maybe it's square. Maybe it's not. Maybe he looks minus 500 tomorrow. Moving on. In the flyweight division, it is the 13-6 Andrea Lee versus the 11-2 Macy Barber. Give me Lee by decision at plus 390, Tim. Give me Lee by decision at plus 390. And, if you want to get a little hairier, split decision is sitting out there. It's plus 400, and then you can go a little crazier on the Andrea Lee side. But I like Lee here. Again, I think this line's off by a good bit. When I watch, and I watch a lot of Macy Barber's fights, man. Like, she's cage pushing. She's not like blowing people away, man. She really isn't. And yeah, she did it earlier, a couple of years ago against Aldrich and Robertson. But of late, man, she hasn't really looked that good. And I get the fact that Lee was taken down and kind of dominated by Our Usual, but Our Usual is much stronger than Macy Barber is. And number two, Lee, I think, cardio dumped because she went for a finish very, very early when she got Our Usual hurt really, really bad in that first round. So I think there was a case of two things going on there. Lee at this price is really, really tempting. I bet her at her money line and this decision prop plus 390. Give me some of that, Tim. What do you like?
Yeah, man. I already bet Lee by split at 12-1 earlier in the week. As soon as the line came out, I don't even know. I don't even have much confidence that she wins. I just think that's a stupid line. Also, I think that it's a stupid money line. Just because, what the fuck has Macy Barber done to say that she should be minus 300 in this situation? She's physically stronger than her. That's the thing that's been holding me off of Lee. She's physically I'll be shocked if Lee wins in the clinch, and I think she needs to. She typically fights a lot in the clinch, and she doesn't avoid that situation. She actually requires that situation in fights. So that's not good for her. She actually, in this fight, would be, in my opinion, she'd be better off to just try to stay at range as long as she possibly could and make it a kickboxing fight from range and go in and take her shots and be very selective. Because if she does that, Barber's going to fucking punch at air for 90% of her shots from a really long distance away. And if she can't really get in and get into the clinch, her value is just lost, in my opinion. So can she get better being young? Can she improve different things? Yes, absolutely. So is it possible that she's improved her striking and we'll see a different striker here? Maybe. But yeah, I can't get to a parlay Macy Barber to get her line down or any of that shit. So yeah, fight ends in split plus 400, and I would add, I love yours as well, because I already did obviously bet on the 12-1 on Lee by split decision, but yeah, dude, get all in on the this fight going and it being greasy, and maybe you can cash all three.
I mean, I know she's young and she might be improving, but dude, she does the same shit every fight. Cage push, yell, scream when she's throwing, if she's on top, she's yelling and screaming. I don't know. She hasn't impressed me that much. She's at probably one of the worst gyms to get better too, over there in California, which is whatever. I don't really like that gym for her, but let's see, man. Andrea Lee hasn't really been blown away by anybody, dude. She fights close against almost everybody, and she's fought good opposition. So I don't know. We'll see, man. It's gonna be interesting in this fight here. Dixon Sider says, Narco, be honest. You think the judge is gonna give it to Lee because she got robbed last time in Texas. She got freaking robbed. It was in Texas. She clearly won that fight and she got robbed. So.
They don't the Texas judging isn't for Texas. It's just for shit. It's just bad judging. So yeah, it's not for a particular.
The Lauren Murphy fight, there's no chance in hell she lost that fight, but yet she lost. So it happens. It's judges in We'll see. Oh, George has a good point, but that was to Murphy, who lives in Texas. Yeah, I guess maybe that's the deal. I don't know. We'll see. Moving on. Fight number 9. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 16-4 Nate Landwehr versus the 9-1 Austin Lingo. What do you got here, Tim?
All right, I'm on the mush prop of the week here. Unfortunately, I thought it was great until I heard everybody in the world on it and loving it as much as I did. That is the Nate Landwehr by submission prop, which is 9-1. And the sub 2 is plus 2,500, and the sub 3 is 4,500. If you don't want to get greasy with it, it's round 2. Round 3 is plus 650, plus 900. But it's just like, Nate, you know what you're going to get with the guy. You're going to get some craziness. You're going to get total chaos. He's going to make some really dumb decisions. He could have mount, and then he'll stand up. So I hope he doesn't do that this time. I hope he doesn't have mount and then stand up, because I've got a sub prop on him. Even though he's only got one submission, he does go for submissions, and he does have good front choke series and Darce. And I do feel like Lingo's just not a dude that I feel is that good. I think he's like a worse version of Landwehr. Very similar styles. I think he's probably maybe more durable, but remains to be seen. He's got like half the fights. So yeah, I mean, I don't like what I will say is, even though I think that he's a better fighter and Landwehr's a better fighter, I would just hate like concept of laying any type of juice on Nate Landwehr. It's like laying juice on Nick Kyrgios in tennis. It's like, why would you do? You can't do this. Like, you just pick a prop and hope it hits, because laying juice, like, pick him as a dog all day long. Like, that's what you want to do is bet him when he's a dog. But having him as a favorite in this situation and having his fight IQ it's just like shit I don't want. I put in my notes, will do dumb things 100%. Like, so yeah, Nate Landwehr by sub 9 plus 900, and sub 2-3 is 25 and 45 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, Nate Landwehr is a guy that you want to back as a fucking dog. You do not want to back this guy as a favorite. You know why? Well, for one, the last time he was a favorite against Julian Erosa, he got KO'd, right? The time before that he closed as a favorite, Herbert Burns, he got KO'd. So both times he was a favorite in the UFC, he's been knocked out, right? Now, not only is he a favorite now, dude, but I mean, this line has gone down, and I played Austin Lingo at plus 210. He's down to minus 200. It's still very bad to lay this type of price with a guy that goes into a fight, going to war with everybody, no matter who it is. He has terrible fight IQ, absolutely horrendous fight IQ. How can you lay 200 with this guy? Like, he's hittable as shit on the feet. And the other thing is, don't sleep on Austin Lingo's power, dude. The guy has a lot of power in his hands. I'm telling you guys. He hits hard. And, this is at, featherweight. And Lingo has, prior to the UFC, has a lot of finishes, dude. So I think he's got power in his hands. He, in his one UFC fight, Kilburn, he dropped Kilburn, even though he's not a great fighter, but he has power in his hands, and he throws big, fucking wild hooks. So I agree with you, though. Landwehr round 2, round 3, 650, 950, in that range is good. I do have a bet on Austin Lingo round 1 knockout. The line went up here. It's 950 on Bet Online. I like that look, Tim. I like the 950 round 1 KO for Austin Lingo, because I think he comes out like a bat out of hell. And he throws big shots, and we've seen, whether it be him knocked out in the first round or hurt in the first round, we've seen it a lot from Nate Landwehr. So,
yeah, why not just bet him live? If you're into Nate Landwehr, if you're into that business, why not just bet him live? Just wait and see him get bonked and see the craziness, and either the fight's over, you miss your chance to bet it, or
I like, don't get me wrong, I like Nate Landwehr in this fight, like as far as if he was even money. I don't like him when he's minus 200. That's the whole thing. We're playing numbers. And the number absolutely fucking smells like shit here.
Yeah,
So,
he's 75% of his losses are finishes. Like
yeah.
it's not like he goes to war, but it's just like you're saying, like to think that this dude is that Lingo, who again I'm not saying is that great because I don't think he is, but to say that he couldn't bonk him, which is pretty much what he's going to try to do, and Landwehr's going to give him every opportunity in the world to bonk him. So it's just like, yeah, I really feel like it's not a bad play at plus 950. I also what is round two just in case.
Round 2 KO for Lingo.
Yeah,
It's probably huge. Round 2 KO Austin Lingo. It's 1,400. It's not that big.
Okay.
What's up, Mark Schillenberg? Thank you for joining us, my man. Thank you for coming in. What is up, Gerardo Hernandez? What is up, man? With that being said, let's move on to the co-main event of the night. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 14-6 Holly Holm versus the 14-6 Yana Santos. I will kick this one off. I like the home side. I like the home side. Holmes is old. She's 41. The other girl is 34, 35. I forgot. Yana Santos. She's coming off having a baby. So she's 33. She's coming off having a baby. She's been out for a while. But go back and watch Holly Holm's last fight against Caitlin Vieira. And then go back and watch Santos's last fight against Irene Aldana. Tell me which chick looked 40 or 41 and which chick looked 32. Because I think it's vice versa. Santos looked like dog shit, man, in that fight. She looked so slow. I mean, she looked so bad. I can't even describe how bad this girl looked. I mean, she looked horrible, man. And now she's coming off a layoff, having a baby. People might think Holly Holm is 41 and everything, but she still does her thing, man. She's going to throw volume. She's going to throw all the fucking shots. She's very hard to take down still. She's going to probably outmuscle you for the most part. She's probably on some good stuff. She still looks good as far as her body's concerned. Obviously, I can't give you Holm by decision. I'm going to go by split plus 400. It probably won't happen. If you want to get crazy, I probably would get Holly Holm by KO at plus 410. I mean, listen to me. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to play it. Holly Holm by KO is only plus 410. Only plus 410. There's a reason behind why it's that low for this fight. So I think not the older fighter is the shot fighter. I think the younger fighter is the shot fighter in this fight. So, yeah, I mean, you want to get sneaky, it's Holly Holm by KO plus 410. What do you got here, Tim?
So I did a same game parlay that we were talking about in a Discord with Art C, the Mr. Electrocute, really intelligent dude. He put out this same game parlay, and it was the exact like kind of path that I saw of how I saw the fight going. And then I looked at the odds of like KO2 and KO3, and I'm like, okay, they're not bad, right? And then round 2, round 3 also are solid. But they're not like great, they're just like this is like a for a person that actually, it's like for a traditional finisher, they're like around those same lines. And you're like, well, why are you getting those lines? It's like, it's not because of Holly Holm, it's because of Yana. Like Yana's, like you said, like not only do you have the look at her versus Kedlin, like look at her versus Irene Aldana. You just said like Aldana versus kind of Sky. Like watch the fight where, the Holly Holm versus Aldana fight. Like that's the exact one that I'm like very confident in the strength and very confident in the clinch and this who's going to win in those battles is going to be Holm. It's like, so the same game parlay that I played was it's Holm to get 1 takedown in round 1, Holm to get 2+ takedowns, moneyline Holm, fight ends by KO. Most significant strikes Holm, okay, and tie in most knockdowns, and it's like 90-1. And it's like, if she all she needs to do is get the first takedown in the first round, and I really think that that's live. Like, and if you want to hedge on a sub, that same thing happening, don't do the same game parlay. Just put a sub prop at like 20-1. It's like ridiculous line anyways. So like, you can just do a little tiny bet on that. But that same game parlay to me, if she gets a takedown in round 1, is extremely live, because all she needs is one more takedown, and then she starts pounding, and you just see Yana is just an absolute horrible nail. Like, she doesn't last in fights, and she absolutely quits in fights. Like, historically, multiple times. She just had a kid. She easily could be taking a paycheck here. So to me, this is why, like you're saying, when I was nodding hard when you're saying KO is 400. KO for Holm is never 400. Like, ever. So yeah. They know. So yeah, I'm with you. I really like that same game parlay, and you can hit it a bunch of different ways, or take like one notch off and still get 30s and 50-1s.
I mean, we're here for Lambo plays, so I'm giving that. Like, do I think that's like the high probability? No, I think she's gonna win by decision most likely.
Right.
Again, we're plus 300 or better here, so that's one that kind of stuck out. Like, why is it sitting at this price? And the way Santos looked last fight, man, I don't know. Like, that was a little shaky, in my opinion. 116 of you in here. Thank you very, very much. Before we go on to the main event, hit that like, subscribe. And if you're subscribed, hit that notification button so you guys know.
Final thought on that. Would you be shocked if she subbed her? Like, if she just gets a position on the ground. Like, we think, like, because you don't think it's a standing TKO, do you?
No, it's probably on the ground.
Right. So I just think that the sub 20-1 too is like so stupid. They're just lining it because she's never gotten.
I don't think
she's never gotten a sub. It's banked based on that. I'm just saying it's.
Here's the problem. I at least, I like to see someone that proactively looks for subs at least.
Right.
And she just doesn't, dude. Let me look. Let me see her UFC career. How many sub attempts she's
I can't imagine. Can't remember. She goes for takedowns, and she goes for positional advance.
Yeah. I can't. There's one sub attempt in her entire UFC career. Yeah. She just doesn't go for it. That's the thing. Like, I wouldn't do it, but I don't want to talk you out of it. Again, if you see something,
no, it's not her. It's not her. It's Yana. That's my whole thing. Yeah. It's not anything I'm seeing at home.
All right, let's go on to the main event of the night. It is in the bantamweight division. It's a banger. 22-7-1 Marlon Cheeto Vera versus the 15-4 Corey Sandhagen. Tim, take us home.
Boy, I like both of these fighters historically. I like betting on them. Only one I lost with Corey recently was TJ. I thought there was a little bit of tomfoolery in that fight. And then Cheeto is one of my favorite fighters of all time. So I've loved betting Cheeto in the last few fights, where everybody's just like, he never wins moments, and now everybody's on the side, and they're picking. This is a lot of people this week that are on him as the favorite dog. So I'm scared shitless about that. Obviously, I think Corey is obviously a very solid fighter, great striking, well-rounded fighter, durable, good fight IQ, and I just feel like this is a classic. Cheeto wins this decision when nobody thinks he could win a decision. And I think he wins a split decision when nobody thinks he could win a decision either. I think it's possible that volume versus moments here throughout the fight. Anytime I bet on Cheeto, I always bet his 3-4-5 if there's a 3-4-5 or his round 3. So I will be for 100% betting those as well in this fight. I do think it is possible, because Corey also slows down in round 4 and 5. He has not shown over his last few fights to be fighting at his best in those rounds. He's usually doing better in the early rounds. So I wouldn't be shocked at any moment if Cheeto does connect on him and put him out. I know he's never been knocked out, so I get it. But I do think that the power on Cheeto is outlier level, and I think it's to the level where Sandhagen was knocked down by Jan, and I honestly feel that if Vera hits him, I think Jan is more accurate, but I think that Vera is more powerful. So I feel like if he connects the way that he could easily knock him down, and he could knock him out. So give me Cheeto, the late round props, and then I'm going to take multiple shots in this one because I think they're both very, very viable at very good numbers. So 14-1, 16-1, 19-1, 3-4-5, and then points is 6-1 and split is 18-1 for Cheeto. It's like he's pretty much my side this week, and I feel like even in a decision, I feel like he's got so much more win equity in a decision against Corey than people are giving him credit for. It's extremely similar to last week with Usman and Leon saying, I just felt like, hey, nobody's giving him any credit to win a decision and a close one. And I'm like, this is fucking possible. And so I feel the same thing here. I just really do. So how about you, man?
I'm right there with you, man. I honestly believe that this fight hits the scorecards, and I totally agree with what you said. I think people are underestimating the fact that Cheeto can win a decision here. I get the output. I get that Sandhagen has the output, but people throwing around that, Sandhagen can wrestle my ass. This guy's not had more than 2 takedowns in his UFC career. Like, he doesn't wrestle, guys. This guy's not a wrestler. He's gonna strike. That's what he likes doing. So throw wrestling out the window. I don't think there's gonna be wrestling. Maybe 1 takedown. Is he going to hold Cheeto down? I don't think so. He's just going to let him get back up and whatever. The guy's a striker, okay? He's going to strike. That's what he's going to do. And he's going to give Cheeto Vera the fight that he wants. Now, you're taking Cheeto Vera. It's 5 rounds. The guy's made for 5 rounds. I don't care what anybody thinks. Like, looking back, yeah, Sandhagen's a good fighter. But, it was 2-2 going into that 5th round against Yadong Song. And Yadong Song was fighting with a fucking thing that was opened up for a couple of rounds. Yes, Sandhagen did that to him, but again, it was 2-2 going into the 5th round there, and it wasn't like he was blowing away Yadong Song. Yadong Song is not a volume guy as well. He's a moment guy. He's a guy that throws big strikes and power strikes, similar to Cheeto Vera. The difference is Cheeto's fucking kicking game is fucking really good, man. The pressure, the pace, he's got all of that. And I get Sandhagen has good cardio. I get all that other stuff, man. But it's the volume against the moments. And Cheeto seems to always win the fucking moments in his fights, man. And his moments are not just regular moments. He's dropping people left and right. So, people say, oh, well, fucking Dominic Cruz was, taking rounds off Sandhagen. Off Cheeto. Okay. That's how Cheeto fights. He's a slow starter, but then he's going to get to you. You're not going to run away from him for 5 rounds. He's going to get to you. He's going to drop you eventually, and he's just going to wear on you, man. And I think Sandhagen is going to find the final bell here. I don't think he gets stopped. Obviously, I'm still going to play like late round Cheeto props because I just think you have to with 5-round fights with him. But I agree with you, man. Cheeto by decision, 600 in some spots. I think as a bonkers type of line, like plus 600 Cheeto by decision. All right. Give me some of that. I'm going to tell you, play split because this fight is going to play close. I know it's going to play close. If it hits a scorecard, it's going to be a close fight. Split decision is 500. It's not like the best number, but I'm telling you, this is the typical moments versus volume fights, and these are the ones that go to split a lot. So split decision plus 500. Cheeto by split is 1,600, Tim.
Yeah, I bet it at 18-1.
Yeah, where did you get that? On DraftKings?
DK, yeah.
Yeah, I'm limited completely on DraftKings. I'm done. I can't play those single game parlays that I rave about. I'm all fucked. Do you know how much they let me put down? $2.18 on.
You gotta get your wife in there next.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. We do everything legit here. We don't do that. But they do have splits on Caesars. William Hill Caesars has splits.
Nice.
I did play him there. It's 2,200 by split there,
Ooh.
but it doesn't give you majority, right?
Oh, that's totally different.
But majority. I also played the majority. It's 125 to 1. So what? Yeah, it's 125
On
to 1.
Caesars?
Yes.
Oh, I need to play this.
So it's 125 to 1 majority decision and 2,200 for split. Why not, right? I played both of them. Obviously, I wouldn't play one or the other. I just put more money on the split and a little bit less on the majority. Equal, I think the number actually comes out to better than DraftKings if you put it as a whole. But
yes.
But yeah, guys, that's it. All 11 fights. We lost 2 fights. It sucks, but it is what it is. I think it's a pretty good card matchup wise. And no, Mushroom, we haven't forgot our Lambo parlays. I can start it off. I will give mine off first. Lambo parlay. Peterson by submission. Vergara knockout. Cheaty knockout. And Kape inside the distance. It's 34 to 1. What? What are you laughing about?
Oh, that's hilarious. I have 4 out of 5 of mine are the exact same ones. And no, I'm not. And then I said if I wanted to add Lutz KO, it becomes 93 to 1.
Holy shoes.
So
exactly the same. That is hilarious. Guys, we don't talk about these, by the way, at all.
That's hilarious.
I don't mention a single play to Tim throughout the week.
I started laughing. I'm like, no way he's got that.
That's funny. Yeah, Peterson sub, Vergara KO, Chitty KO, and Kape ITD. Maybe you can switch those KOs to ITDs. You get a little less, but I think Chitty's KO is probably the way he gets him out of there anyway. But and the same with Vergara. I don't think he's gonna sub him. So yeah, guys, that's about it. Wrapped up all fights, Lambo parlays, everything. Thank you for everybody that is still here. 100 of you, please hit the like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Throw in some comments too. I think someone was telling me, let the people know in your chat to throw some comments in the videos. Talk about, I answer a lot of the comments unless you're like, I forgot the guy's name. Oh, Sean V. Unless you're that guy coming in and hindsighting every single play that we lose on and not talk about the ones that we hit, I'm going to fucking block you. So if you're going to be that idiot, I'm going to block you. I usually don't do it to anybody, but that dude is on my shit list. So thank you very, very much again to each and every one of you. And Tim, let them know where they can find you and what you have going on.
Thanks again, as always. Yeah, tomorrow going to be shooting it up with Sean Orr on Twitter Spaces, our regular time, about 1:05 Central Standard Time. We'll break down the whole card and then let a bunch of sharp dudes that are in there to give their favorite play, and should be fun. Yeah.
Tomorrow, guys, live spaces again during the fight card. At the start of the fight card, I think it's is that a 1-2 Eastern fight card, or is it 3 Eastern? I think it might be 3 Eastern.
3:45 start time.
Oh, they pushed it back.
Yeah.
So 3:45 Eastern start time. Yep. Yeah, so we're gonna have the live spaces. There's only going to be 4 speakers, including myself, which is 5 total. I just had a vote on Twitter. Too many people didn't like all the chaos that was going on. There's live spaces. They can't hear Rich when he's commentating, because a lot of people, believe it or not, don't even watch the fights. They just listen to Rich commentate and they live bet, which is crazy. A lot of them sent me messages stating that. So yeah, it's only going to be 5 of us. In between fights, I will bring people on and they can talk whatever they want. I'll fill it up then. But during fights, it's only going to be 4 or 5 people max as speakers. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining us today. And one final thought, let's cash those mother effing